Welcome back to Pole Barn Garage, where today I've got something really cool for you. 1964 Lemans with a 4-speed. Let's load her up, get it home, and see what we have to work with. This has been on Marketplace for like 9 months, and the guy was a little high on price at first, but he ended up taking $4,800 for this. And it is so worth that. We've got a 4-speed and a 400 under the hood. We'll look at that in a minute. He's put some floor pans in. You can see that's totally fine by me. They're welded in, and they've been in there for about 20 years. He said he had this car since he was in college. Trunk pan's the same way. I need a screwdriver to open it. Deck lid's kind of rough, so we probably need to find one of those. I'd say a deck lid, a rear bumper, and we have a car. This is a very, very solid original car. I don't know if the 4-speed is original. I think it's probably a 3 on the tree car originally, and I actually think it was a 6-cylinder originally. See, we notice how we don't have any badging, and the car has manual steering, manual brakes, almost no options at all. And I think it's even still running a 6-cylinder radiator, which is a problem. We'll probably have to take care of that. The car was built in Kansas City at the Leeds plant, which is very cool. This is a 400. It's a 76 model 400 with 6X heads on it, so nothing crazy. The guy said he ran it at Mocan Raceway back in the day, and it ran a 14.8, which I could see that with the 4-speed, headers, aluminum intake. You know, that's respectable. He also said it ran, and we heard it pop off of some carb cleaner, so I'm just going to throw a battery in it and see if it'll drive off the trailer. Let's see if it'll pump anything up.
Yeah.
Not to like about that. I mean, it doesn't run the best, but it's running. Sounds like it might have a little bit of a cam or something. Anyway, I gotta figure out where reverse is on this. I'm pretty sure it's a Saginaw, but I don't know. Ramp's good?
Yep.
I ain't got no brakes.
It's the exhaust.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's hanging down pretty far.
Well, that's weird. Just get a run at it?
Yeah, go forward and go back again.
It needs exhaust anyway.
Yeah. There we go.
Hop in.
All right.
60 pounds oil pressure. Shifter's kind of weird. There is a clutch, technically.
Good.
Well, anyway, will it run and drive? Yes, it will. We'll see you next time on Pole Barn Garage. This Pontiac, yeah, it just sat for 20 years. I mean, you know, it's really no big deal. This runs perfectly fine. There's gotta be something hiding. So let's dig into some of this thing. I want to get the mechanicals squared away. You know, running, driving, stopping, new wheels, new tires. We got to do a complete brake system on it. Maybe give it a tune-up if it needs it. And I have bought a lot of parts for this thing, okay? Automotive YouTube has a big problem, and that is sponsors. And I'm as guilty of it as anybody. And whenever someone sends you free parts, you can't really bitch about it, right? Well, here's the thing. I have spent, oh God, probably $6,000 of my own money on all the parts for this car thus far. There will be plenty more coming. But this way, you know, the parts I buy is stuff I really trust, really believe in, and I'm willing to actually put my money behind. This is the sponsor-free YouTube build. Let's start with the boring stuff. Let's do brakes. Car has no brakes. We need it to stop. Up in the air she goes. Now the guy I got it from said that the front to rear brake line blew a hole in it. I'm not sure where exactly. It all actually looks okay to me. The guy I got this from put a brand new tire on this. So there's our spare tire right there, free of charge. The inevitable Jim is here.
Here to take possession of the Merchero.
Yes, yes, you'll see that next month on the way to Duct Tape Drags, whatever Jim does to it. Oh, spiders. So this, of course, has 9.5-inch drum brakes all the way around. GM used those forever on cars. That's the same brake a GTO would have. It's the same brake their highest horsepower car or a 6-cylinder car would have. It doesn't matter. They didn't care about stopping or living, I guess. Should we put fluid in the master cylinder to see if fluid comes out of... What if it's not the front to rear line?
Well, you said it had a leak, right?
That's what he said.
Well, purported, let's fill it up with fluid, pump the pedal, and just see what happens. What could possibly go wrong pumping pressure into a brake system that's 20 years old?
Well, nothing really, except for it's going to make a mess out of my clean floor. The floor is clean at the moment.
It is?
Currently. Well, let's put some fluid in there, and I'll run the pedal. If you find a leak, let me know. Wow, that feels like absolutely nothing. The master cylinder may not be doing anything at all. We may have to change the master cylinder to find the leak.
On the positive side, on the outside, Dalton, your floor is still clean.
Yeah, for now. Line's coming right off. That's nice. Good.
Brake line that was kept on page.
No, there goes my floor. God damn it. Rust my pride and joy car. This thing does not want to come off.
So, Dalton, I'm hearing a lot of grunting and groaning going on under there. What seems to be the trouble?
Oh, well, the car has a return spring on the brake pedal for some godforsaken reason. And I need to pull the brake pedal rod so I can get the goddamn master cylinder off of the rod, so I had to get this stupid return spring off here. You think that's... I don't know, that's probably factory, isn't it?
I don't know, but it was kicking your ass.
Yeah, it was. I hope we don't need it, because I ain't putting it back on.
So, Doctor, what did you find upon your inspection?
It's fucked.
Is that an industry term?
Yeah, it is. Look at that. See, I guess this has a washer in it, doesn't it? That piston is froze up here. How the hell do you get this thing out of there?
Big hammer. Let the violence begin.
Yes. Do I have to disassemble this?
All I know is at this point in time, I'm actually laughing inside because it's kicking your ass.
Did the new one come? No one doesn't have a rod, does it?
No, it does not.
It kind of seems like the rod it goes behind that washer. And, oh yeah, the piston in that one is frozen. This is the one out of the car. And this new one is a different style. Well, I'm an idiot, and I ordered a power brake master cylinder.
Can you say it again? You're a what?
Difference being the piston is different. This has a recess in it, and the manual brake one does not. They use a different rod. Well, you can't get one. Well, you can. We'll be waiting until next Wednesday, and I don't have till next Wednesday. Let's see if we can use the seals and everything out of the new one I bought there and try to refinish this old one. So we're going to try to blow the rusted piston out with air.
Time for violence.
It really doesn't want to come out of there. There it goes.
There we go. You just got to stroke it more.
Some of it should probably work now. Let me get a little emery cloth. It's working.
Spitting out some pretty nasty stuff. Oh!
Huh.
That has got to be some of the nastiest brake fluid I've ever seen. What are we doing here?
I'll scare it out. That didn't work. There it goes.
Success.
Yeah.
How's it looking there?
Horrible.
Bring it up here. Let's get a good look.
The bore's fine, though.
Cool. What'd you find?
Seals are different. The new one is this little skinny lip seal, and the old one is this big fat one.
Well, that's just Chinese quality there.
I gotta say, the old one looks totally fine. Probably nothing wrong with it.
Let's clean up the bore.
Jim, the cylinder hone, reconditioned.
No warranty. Stated or implied. Did you lube it?
No. Should I?
Yeah, you should put some sort of lube on there.
Yep, that's...
There we go.
That's it. That's money.
Were we victorious?
Yes, that's a brand new master cylinder right there.
Semi-professional.
It's just... I mean, you know, it's just as good as the Chinese could have done it. So you gotta bench bleed it.
Yeah.
So we'll take it over to the vise, bench bleed it. I'm sure it'll be perfect with no air bubbles. We want to see bubbles. We got bubbles. And we're gonna keep depressing this thing until bubbles stop and fluid starts. So I can barely push this thing. We have nice pure fluid coming out of there. I think this sumbitch actually works pretty good.
Well, let's go put it on the car and see if we can find that leak.
We've discovered that the brakes actually work in the car. The pedal feels tremendous. Both front brakes work. Rear brakes do nothing. Nothing leaking over here.
Well, nothing back there.
I say we just roll with it like we don't know there's a rotted brake line and just go through the brakes.
I would say new hoses.
Hoses, hardware. Wheel cylinders. Yeah, just do it all, but I bet the brake lines are fine if they unbolt.
Take mine right here. That's not crusty.
No, and they all look like that. They all look really nice, actually. The car isn't rusty. You want heat?
Maybe a little heat.
Nope. There it goes. Watch as the inevitable Jim disassembles and reassembles this brake just like...
Yeah. We shall have new brakes.
Just like
that.
Yeah, it's still not done.
Drums aren't too bad.
How are they?
Not bad at all.
Oh, dude.
Right here's got a little pitting right here.
Yeah,
that'll emery cloth up.
That looks like new hardware.
It hasn't been that long ago. At least the hold down springs. Shoes aren't that bad. I mean, they're like new. Look at this right here. See, those aren't that old. And these are the adjuster. We're going to completely rebuild the front brakes right now.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm pretty tempted just to leave it, but
I know. Let's clean it off, see what we got. Wheel cylinders, look at that. They aren't rusty, they've been replaced.
Woo.
It's off.
No.
No, these are not nearly as
They've been done once though. Look at the wheel cylinder.
Yeah, this is... Yeah, we need to just get a fresh hose on it. Hey, Dalton. I think this brake drum's been on here a while.
Well, the cobweb's been on there a while anyway. Yo, you didn't even give that a chance. You just started hitting it.
I know. It's a Pontiac. It can take it. Machined. I say we run them. If they don't work, we'll always wish they did.
When we're dead.
Yeah, it's all right.
So we're thinking about running the original wheel cylinders, which are not original wheel cylinders. These are definitely replaced.
And they're made in USA.
And the boots on them are really good. I mean, and the fronts work. So I think we leave them. You know, you warn people about this, and you really don't ever get a very good example of it, but these are great. Look how collapsed that rubber is. That hole is not round anymore. These brakes were very slow to release, so the fluid's coming in, but it can't go back. That's why. I managed to get all the brake lines broke free, and I trust none of them. And it's a single pot master cylinder, which means I should replace them. So I'm not going to do that. Let's just change all the rubber ones instead. I like to live on the edge, you know. I'm kind of a daredevil. That's the rear brake hose. That thing is hard as a freaking brick, man.
Woo. Yeah, it's solid there.
You can't even see through it.
There's no hole.
There's just barely. Yeah, that was bad.
I'd say that might have been collapsed.
Well, it had fluid in front of it and no fluid after it.
Wheel bearings are all packed, brakes are all clean, new hose, bleeders broke loose, ready for you.
Cool. Waiting on a wheel seal for the driver's front, and we'll just tackle the rest of this tomorrow.
Let's do that. It's late. What time is it? Late?
It's pretty late. This morning, rebuilding the brake drums, making them brand new. Oh yeah. Doesn't look too good. Can't put them in because we don't have a wheel seal, but we can pack our bearings. I've been soaking them in this cup of Super Clean. That's my go-to for that, and it works tremendous. Gasoline works great too, but I'm a smoker and I don't want to explode. Rinse them out the rest of the way with just a bit of brake clean. Reuse these old bearings to save $1 or $2. I mean, look at that. Even took all the spray paint stuff off of the cap there. Super Clean's good stuff, man. Packed full of new grease. These will be good to go for another 50 years or so. Yeah, but that's it. That's it. Just another half a century. I mean, yeah, I wouldn't run them much longer than that. Wheel seal, reassembled that one. I think we're ready to bleed brakes, potentially. Jim had to go home. Jim brought this Dodge truck over. We were messing with it yesterday. You're going to see that in a video coming soon. Oh, I guess I'll have to go get Jess to come push the pedal for me. Let's play the how many brake lines are we going to pop this time game. Okay. I'm just going to open it. You just push it down. All right, up, down. There we go. Now we got fluid. All right, pump them 2-3 times. Brake's already working. Okay, that's bizarre. I think that one's fine. I'm gonna do the other rear. Always work from furthest away to closest. Fronts are done. That was pretty anticlimactic. This is all old stuff. Remember that. Oh. It blew. What blew?
Back there on this side, it looks like.
Yep. All right, there's the climactic part here. At least the brakes are fine. It's just this line that popped. Okay, I'll make a brake line. Damn it. There's our culprit there. Yeah, it probably needed changed, I guess. I'll go ahead and change the other one too, I guess. I whipped up a couple of new brake lines. Let's throw these on. I'll go find Jess again so we can bleed them again. Kind of on the side here, I've been trying to find some pulleys laying around that will replace this serpentine drive thing. It's that super chump. All right, they're bled again. Now let me smash them. Feels like brakes to me. With the brakes completely finished and sure to never bite me in the ass, I think I'm going to wash the underside of this car with brake clean as best as I can. I'd like to bedline it because it's in very good shape under there. Just kind of paint the rear end and stuff like that. I care about this one. Look, don't look at me like that. And we'll be getting to the accessories too and waiting for them to dry. Painting. I think I found a set. We'll see. I couldn't care less if this thing is perfect by any means. Let me get the rear end as best I can. New floors. Now I can clean my precious floor yet again. Will this work? Oh, hey. I have learned a new trick. Yes, we'll make this car spotless. Fortunately, the great folks at Super Clean send me literally endless amounts of this stuff, and this new foaming spray kind is badass. I'm gonna soak this whole damn car in it and just give it a rinse off, and I bet it looks great. Things are escalating rapidly. I've moved under the hood. Oh god. Alright, that's it. We're going all in. Getting the aerosol out too. Oh god. At least this is going to make this thing a whole lot more enjoyable to wrench on, if nothing else. Rinse the whole thing off now. You just witnessed me frame off, restore the whole car. Look at that. Look how good that looks. This whole thing is just about clean enough to eat off of now. Hell yeah. That'll make easy painting later. Now that everything's cleaned off under there, let's start changing some stuff. It needs shocks desperately. I got some AC Delcos here, but the damn things are made in China. They cost more than the Monroes that are made in the USA. I mean, what a joke things are nowadays. I also got some Monroe air shocks for the back. So you can tell the car's had tie rods put in it and shocks and stuff like that. It's nice to work on something that's been maintained, even if it did sit for 20 years or so. Yes, twist-in spring spacers, the signs of a true professional like myself. Oh, rat nest in the control arm. I don't mean to brag, but I do have the clips in the control arm this time. No bolt and nut action. I know. We're really losing our way around here. With great sadness, I say that one of the clips broke on this one. So I have to cut the bolt off. And then, of course, I'll put a bolt and a nut in it and bitch about it later. Yeehaw! Behold, air shocks. You could spend $500 on airbags, to make your car adjustable, or you could just buy air shocks for $90. These have been around for a long time. They're for cargo applications. No, they're not. They're to jack your car up, make it look cool. This car is for me. I want it to look cool. I want old school, ground sniffer, like, Krager's, raised white letters. Like, that's my stuff, Let's get these old ones off of here. Will I get lucky? No. No way. Oh, I'll take that if we can do that 4 times. Never mind, it was a false alarm. Some bastard put a bolt and a nut through that. I mean, who would do such a thing? I guess these cars didn't use the sheet metal clip, so I don't have anybody to blame. Oh, God. Anyway, they're pretty beat. They're junk. Let's get those off of here, get the air shocks on here, then we can be cool. Shoot. I got to get this off too. The air shock mounts out a little bit further. You can see on that one it's got that spacer. That's what we want. Here's your line kit here. Comes with some plastic line. These things where you're supposed to drill holes and clip it into the frame. I don't ever do that because I don't want to drill holes, but I just zip tie it up. I hate the new ones like this. It makes the T's separate. You have to put a piece of line in and then connect the T like that so it dangles. Well, and it's just one more place for it to leak. I think the Gabriels come with the old style T where the Schrader valve is built into this. Air shocks are not necessarily from my era of automobiles, I guess. My era of automobiles sucks. First time I put air shocks on, my dad helped me do it on my Le Mans when I was, I don't know, 15. And, you know, I picked them up from a swap meet used or something. Dad always had air shocks on stuff, and he'd show me pictures of his old cars, and I'm like, man, that's pretty cool. I want to be like Dad. It's a lot cooler, sorry, but Dad's a lot cooler than your lowered cars and your big wheels and stuff like that. And they don't give you nearly enough airline anymore. What a ripoff. If I could run it up into the trunk, I guess. Usually I like to put them behind the license plate where you can get to it. Right there might work, but do I have enough to get to the other shock? And you can't run it under the gas tank because that would be chump as hell. Way too short. Let me see if I have some more airline around here, or see if Dad has some maybe. There we go. There we go. Dad had some airline, so I was able to run them both. There's a handy hole already in the bumper here. That'll be perfect. This is the good T. That's what I was talking about. No extra hose. You just put it right to it, and you got your valve. Much better. Going up, I hope. Yes. The weight of the car is suspended, so it's not going to show anything. But the airbags did inflate. It's almost imperceptible here. It's perfect. I think we need to put a gas tank in the thing, so I got one of these. Not really anything wrong with the tank, except for the filler neck's way down there. It's just the wrong tank for the car, so let's throw that one on. Interesting. He's using this over here as a return line. This car originally wouldn't have even had a return line, but I guess it's not a bad thing to have. That is some nasty gas coming out of there. I really shouldn't have been running this thing on it. Oh, well, at least it's good old gas. You know, not this ethanol garbage. Oh, I hope there's not too much gas in this. Find out, I guess. Yeah, there's some gas in it. Oh, this isn't the right bolt for that. That's why it's being a bitch. Oh, it's right there. Come on. Just be cool, will you? Oh my God, this thing's full of gas. To put a hole in it, or to not do that. No, I'm not gonna do that. That would be smart. Being smart is dumb. Hey, look, weed killer. I mean, I'm just kidding. It's clearly not full of weed killer. It's full of bonfire starter. And it is significantly full. But clean looking. You know, I think that's the right gas tank for that Skylark. You remember how we were having problems with it? And I'm stupid and welded the filler neck in upside down? That looks a lot like it. You know, before I put the gas tank in here, I'd like to go ahead and bedline it. This is a great candidate for that. And he's put a trunk floor in it. There definitely was no trunk floor before, but did a really good job, I think. It looks great. We just preserve that for a good long while. Let that cure up. I'll throw the gas tank in tomorrow. Might as well go ahead and put some new springs in it. New control arms. New rear end. You know, we got the whole bit going. I did a little cleaning up under the hood too. I got half a gallon of tractor paint left over. Gloss black. It looks great in engine compartments. The only thing I really noticed we gotta get rid of right now is this voltage regulator. We don't need that anymore. We have an internally regulated alternator that doesn't do anything. There we are, one less thing on the wall. If I've got a paintbrush, I can make things happen. No masking with the paintbrush. See, that's one of the good things. As long as you do it right, you don't really notice the brush marks too bad. Not to get some more spray bed liner. Do the bottom side of the car with. I want to do the whole thing. That took me 15 minutes. I mean, come on guys. You wouldn't be happy with this? Who wouldn't be happy with that? It looks tremendous. I have to put the cinder in this tank. Isn't it crazy how this gas tank has a filler in it?
Whoa.
And it was the same price. If you watch last week's video, you'll understand that. I went all out on this one. I had the anti-rattle pads for the tank straps. You know, not something I would normally do, but I do like this car a lot, so. Little extra insulation and guaranteed to rot your gas tank out over the period of 50 years. And whatever genius put this kit together supplied sheet metal clips, which, you know, and the idea of that is a pretty good idea, I think. You know, you put this clip up in there and then bolt to it. They don't fit the car, and you don't have any way to, like, pound them in there because, you know, there's a car in the way. I don't know why it wouldn't just be the factory carriage bolt and nut. Look how short that strap is.
Too short again?
Yeah, way too short, like a mile too short. What a piece of shit. Look at that. Like, again, if the gas tank was already, like, cinched, you know, but it's typically, if you're replacing fuel tank straps, you're replacing the fuel tank. Oh, look, I had to go to the hardware store and buy the correct bolts. Well, actually, I bought them a little bit too long, probably, but the way I figure it, you can always cut off extra, right? Just start it, and then slide it up in the hole. Wow, what a concept.
Whoa.
Isn't that crazy? And wow, what? That's really something, ain't it?
Impossible, really.
Yeah. Now we just chop them off to where we want them. It's incredible, right? It's almost like you can just make the bolt shorter. Fuel tank's installed. I gotta plug that return line. We'll leave it there though, just in case we ever want to run one. JD's unbolting the exhaust so we can get under here and bed line the whole underside of this thing a little easier. And it's actually coming apart, he says.
Yes.
And you'll note that now you can put gas in the car. Yeah, how about that, huh? Definitely need a new fuel tank cap, though. This exhaust system is certainly one of the things I have ever seen. Did you see that custom H pipe in this thing?
Mm-hmm.
Huh? That's for performance. This is kind of handy. This just like bolt on. There you go. You got mufflers for something, right? So I say we keep this.
Yeah.
There you are, sir. This stuff is like super spicy. Like, it's not spray paint. I don't know what it is, but the fumes, they're fumes. So maybe the N95 will help. I don't know. Yeah. Show quality.
Still really spicy.
I know. It helps a little to have a respirator on, I guess. These aren't really respirators, I guess, but he's kind of like patched like 17 pieces of metal together. But I think he did a really good job. He just didn't finish it off by covering it up with bed liner. And then nobody will ever know that you did that, you see. You guys might have noticed that this rust hole I'm not doing anything about. I'll think about it, maybe. It's not very significant, so. This can is all jacked up. It won't spray. I ripped the top of it off trying to make it work and sprayed myself. I guess we're brushing it. I'm not a fan of this, for the record, but it will work. Brush this stuff on, it will definitely stay on there forever. I think it looks better.
It does look better.
It looks great.
It was messy, but it was worth it.
Yeah, I mean, I've covered a bed liner, but man, this is great. And there's no fumes with this, you know? It looks really good. So we're almost fully restored here. How's your side coming, JD?
Pretty good.
I got the trunk open, because I got a trunk mat for this thing. I figured we ought to go ahead and do the trunk floor while we got our brushes out.
Yeah.
And also, I got new wheels. Mission creep strikes yet again. Might as well do this while we're here. I mean, I haven't really done anything that needs to be done, but man, we've made the car look a lot better. Damn, I might have to have you do the trunk though, but I can't get up in here. I'm gonna paint a few things underneath, and then I'm gonna go mount some wheels.
Okay.
Behold, Kragers. Well, not Kragers. US Wheel Super Spokes. I don't know what the difference is. They sure look like Kragers to me. So they're an aluminum center welded to a steel rim somehow. They're $50 less per wheel than a Krager, so I went with these. I prefer bolt-in valve stems. you know, if in case you ever have the choice. They're cheap and easy to put in. Oh yeah. In case you were ever wondering, for whatever reason, a Krager will take a tire without really any extra effort. I can put these on by hand on a Krager or a, you know, knockoff Krager. I don't know why, I don't know what the difference is, but I can put that on like that, beat it around like that. Done. No tools required. I don't know why I can do that with a Krager, but I've always been able to. What better way to round out your knockoff Kragers with Krager knockoff center caps? These are really cool. They don't make them anymore. I got them new old stock on eBay. And now I put this on, and nobody is ever going to know that that's not a Krager wheel. Oh my God. Look at that. That's how that's supposed to be. It's hot. I turn the window unit back on. Yeah, I have a lot of other things to do to this, but obviously putting the wheels on the car just became the most important thing I could possibly do. But before I do that, I better at least grease up the front end of this thing. Just gonna put some grease in the ball joints and tie rods and everything, make sure everybody's happy. Then we'll slap her back together. Then we'll put the Kragers on. Everything up here is completely bone dry. Ooh. Allow me to pause you for a few moments, just a second or two, while I attempt to fish lug nuts into these Unilug wheels. Oh yeah. I only got 2 on. I gotta put them on there and then take a dead blow hammer and knock this thing around so I can get to the other lug nuts, but God, that looks tremendous. I had to go with a 4 3/4 inch back spacing on the rear, which is just perfect. Keeps that tire inside the quarter. I couldn't ask for better.
It's an extreme oil change. Ba-da-da-da. Cue the heavy metal. Oil change.
Ugh. It's clean. Just used. Gotta love headers, making the oil filter basically inaccessible. I don't know how that's gonna come out of there. You've gotta be kidding me. Come on. Seriously. Oh, no.
Extreme VR1.
It's got all the zinc that a flat Tapicam engine needs. Guaranteed, you don't have to worry about it. No guesswork, no diesel oil. Just pour it in, and you're good to go, and you know it for a fact. And while this thing's up in the air and I get to the bottom of it, we may as well go ahead and completely rebuild the engine with Pontiac Blue Metallic spray paint, which is the best color of any engine ever made. And it is the correct color for this car, so we open the hood, it'll look right-ish. And I'm going to do it now before I start taking off a bunch of stuff so the overspray doesn't matter. Yes, this entire car is a spray paint rebuild, but look at the wheels. Well, there we go, the engine is completely rebuilt. But, you know what? We gotta go a little further here. This is hilarious, but I don't know how else to describe it. I'm going to clean up a few things under the hood here and make this look not so awful. Like most of that aftermarket wiring back here needs to go away. This is the AC bracket out of the Bonneville this motor came out of, and you need it to hold the dipstick up, but we don't need all of it, so I'm going to cut it down, make it, trim it up, make it look a little bit better. Let's throw all of this shit away. Oh, God damn it. I think I'm going to paint that intake Pontiac blue. I've always preferred that as well. We can probably spring for an actual return spring instead of this screen door spring as well. I think I might have one of those. There we go. Goodbye. This is all for the electric fans, which I don't love. I've got a mechanical fan somewhere. If not, there's a... I think it came with a flex fan. I just disconnected the vacuum advance hose and realized that the distributor is completely loose. So maybe we retie this thing while we're at it. I do have a cold case radiator coming, but they had to be drop shipped from cold case, so it's gonna be a minute before that shows up. I really hope I can get rid of this, but I'm not sure what kind of hose I need to use, because a 64 GTO hose is not correct. And the Bonneville hose is definitely not correct. I'm not sure what to do with that, but we'll figure that out when we get there. This thing back here is an Edelbrock throttle cable adapter for the Edelbrock intake. Doesn't need that, we have bar linkage. This thing's incredibly hot, but that is the AC bracket that we need for the dipstick. I just chopped it in half real quick. Isn't that gonna look better? It's the little things, I tell you. Oh shit, I gotta paint the intake though. Oops, I'll take that back off. The mobile masker out here, so I don't paint anything I don't. Oh, that's black. Oops, wrong cam. Oh, now it's blue. How about that? That never happened. I was gonna slather everything Pontiac blue, because I like Pontiac blue metallic a lot. I think it's a great color. Is this gonna be like show quality? No. Do I care? No. I have here some reproduction factory chrome valve covers for this with the oil drippers. These are kind of key. Very good to have those. It actually does help quite a bit with oiling that rocker arm in there. So I'm going to put some gaskets on these with a thin layer of RTV, and then we'll swap these on there because might as well make it shiny. I know I said I was doing things under the car, then I got distracted with making the engine shiny, and I don't know. Look, when I have something I really like, I get all kinds of scatterbrains, so you guys are just going to have to bear with me. Pop these old valve covers off. Now that's not going to tell us everything, but it'll give us an idea how clean the engine is. That's not bad. That hasn't been cleaned a bunch or anything, you know. That's natural sludge, and it looks decent, which I'd rather see this than perfectly spotless, you know. Both valve covers are off now. You can see some pretty typical sludge. We've got guide plates and screw-in studs in these 6X heads. Common stuff for a smog motor. These are actually very good heads to run. They flow excellent, and if you mill them just a little bit, they run strong. But we're not going to do any of that. It runs fine. I would say this engine's, you know, either 60,000 miles and missed all of its oil changes, or around 100,000 miles. And it's a Pontiac, so it's just barely broken. That's what you call sex appeal right there. I'm going to try to get this chumpy Serpentine drive off of here. And, you know, the only thing I think I'm missing is a damn alternator bracket. It just occurred to me, I've got that rusty GTO that might be able to give it up. But maybe we can use this bracket with our pulleys. I'd be willing to try that. Before anybody goes bitching about, oh, well, you could just carry an extra one of those. It's way better than a V-belt. No, it isn't. Look how little of this belt is touching the water pump pulley. Now, the guy I got it from said when he had a mechanical fan on it with this setup, the fan put too much of a load on it and it would smoke the belt. And I can absolutely see how that would happen when you have, what, maybe 2 inches of belt engagement. For this to work properly, you would need to mount the alternator lower, which I guess we could do, which would then wrap the belt more around that pulley. Then it would be a good system. But as this is right now, that's pretty bad. Let's see if I can't get this alternator pulley off of here. I'm sure I've got a regular one laying around somewhere. Well, I didn't have another alternator to take the fan off of, but I did have a pulley laying around. Sure. That's definitely a matching water pump and crank pulley. And it's in the ballpark of the alternator. Somewhere around here, I decided I couldn't possibly live with the billet alternator bracket, and headed off to the rusty GTO to scavenge it like a buzzard. I really hate to do this, but I know I'm going to regret it later. But damn, if this wouldn't be really convenient just to take all of that. This is not chump, this is all factory. Here in the middle of the night, disassembling your damn car. I'm too damn cheap to just buy stuff. No, we gotta do this instead. Alright, I got a full set of pulleys and a fan now. God, that sucked. That car is so rusty. Anyway, let me see if I can just ditch all of this. It was working, but I don't know, I don't like it. If I get this on there, if I ever need a belt, I just order one for a 69 GTO, you know? I guess I ought to clean this stuff up, paint it, and then I'll put it on. Refurbish these to factory new condition. Look at that. It's beautiful. Well, all the bullshit's out of the way now. This piece of all thread with the nut welded to it barely made it out. That's the one that passes through a water jacket. If you don't put a little anti-seize or motor oil on that, you're gonna break that. I got very, very lucky that came out. Before I put that bolt back in with the Rusty Goats alternator bracket, I will put a little grease on it. This is Molly lube I got in this grease gun here. Oh no, this one's lithium. Same diff. It'll work just fine. Smear a little lithium on there. Hopefully there's still threads left in there, because if there isn't, we are in trouble. This thing is not one to thread. So one thing I do, take a nut, put it in your short well socket, and that'll let you put pressure on the bolt to hopefully get it to bite something. She's going, I gotta be kind of careful tightening this down now, but I'm not gonna go too crazy with it because I bet those threads aren't in very good shape. I did spray a little lube in there, and you can see the gunk coming out of there. Now we should be able to mount our alternator. Internally regulated alternator is basically the same size as the externally regulated, so it fits in this bracket. Doesn't that look so much better? Now for everyone's favorite part of the program, where I recklessly cut all these wires out of it without knowing what they do. I'm going to go ahead and remove these self-tappers. I can already hear the comments, oh my god, you need a fan shroud. Well, these cars never had a fan shroud, unless they were an air conditioning car. They had a fixed 4-blade fan, just like the one we pulled off the Rusty Goat there. There you go, it's a ready to go setup for something. This radiator is absolutely inadequate for a 400 or a 389. I suspect it's a 6-cylinder radiator. Look at that. So much better. Probably less efficient. I don't care. Now you can see the engine. Another day of wrenching. I'm gonna have JD drain the radiator using my patented process, where you drill a hole in the radiator hose because the petcock is broke off in the radiator. There you go. Now we can drain it. Let's change that lower radiator hose because it's pretty bad. We'll have to run up and get a fuel line for the car. I guess I don't have one. I found this air cleaner in the trunk of a car. It's better than what was on it, but I'll find something cooler to put on it too. I'm trying to get an actual fuel line on here because I don't want to run that jury-rigged conglomeration. And it doesn't really clear, and it's because this is the old style Edelbrock intake. I could make this work, but frankly, that's a 750 double pumper. That is way too much for this thing anyway. That would run a lot better on the Buick, especially since, you know, he's taken the choke out of it and everything, and I want a driver. Well, I have this. I bought this for that Buick Skylark with the Pontiac motor in it. This is a 650. This is going to run better on this car. Let's just swap the carb, and we'll keep that for the Skylark. And I think we'll win both ways that way.
Probably. Oh,
there you go.
Gasket.
Oh, dumping gas everywhere. Well, at least we get all that bad gas out of it. That's one good thing. It's actually a somewhat correct carburetor for this. This car would originally have had a Carter 4-barrel if it was a GTO. Yeah, these are basically based on the Carter AFB slightly. I'm not gonna lie, this is well above my pay grade. Let's try it. Since I bought this with my own money, but the one I got for the Skylark is sponsored. So if we can figure this one out, then I won't ruin their product on the Skylark. This is one of the old collectors. We'll have to cut them off the old exhaust. Looks like this is an extension for the collector that we'll have to make fit over this. The whole thing's a clamped together system, which is nice. And then that slides here, like that, you know, something like that. We have an X pipe in this one, which I don't know if I love or not. I guess we'll see how it sounds. The only thing I wonder is, how do you know where the header, I mean, how can you just know that this is how far apart the headers are going to be? Because all headers are different. One header extension. I was just out here rummaging around, trying to decide what muffler we want to run on that. I actually have a pair of Pipes Violators and Street Pros. I kind of wanted to put the Violators on it, but I just happened to notice I had a package. New shirts. Look at that. That's the kind of basic design, American flag, as well as we now have lunch boxes. Take that bad boy to work, you know. Walk into the plant carrying that, or this kind here. Look at that. A little cooler. So we got some good stuff over at polebarnmerch.com. So go check that out. Need a lunchbox? Grab a lunchbox. I mean, if you're going to buy one, might as well have a beautiful logo like that on it. You know what I mean? And these shirts, this is really comfortable, actually. It's some very soft material. Please go to polebarnmerch.com and pick you up something. Yeah, so I got the Violators for the Buick, and I'm kind of second guessing that. These sons of bitches are loud, I think. And we have to drive that for 3,000 miles. That car is going to have a steeper gear in it than the 64. They fit in the same hole. I think we put the louder muffler on the car that's not driving 3,000 miles next month and has a higher gear so it won't be quite as bad on the highway. This is kind of what I was wondering is, You know, how do you just know how far apart the headers will be on the car? So I guess you gotta trim the, you trim these a little bit shorter maybe, and then it would move it over.
Yeah.
Right, so you trim the part that comes out of the header collector. Never very good at math, so I don't really know how much to take off of it. I guess I'll just take an inch off, go test fit it, take another inch off, go test fit it. There you go. Look at that. It only took us, what, 3 tries?
Yeah.
There. You gotta rotate these to where they're like 90 degrees. Now, maybe I'm just trash. I am. But I am tickled to death by the factory hangers that this uses. You can see the old one there. Here's your new one. Just bolt them right in the frame, right where the factory did, even for duals. Same with the muffler hanger. Just bolts up right where they went all along. These are reproduction muffler hangers. I think we're getting somewhere. We got our tailpipes kind of loosely held up here on the back hanger there. And our mufflers should land in here somewhere, I think. Somehow we've managed to be like 5 inches short. I thought for sure we'd be a little long, if anything. What the hell? Pull everything back a little bit and see if that makes it up. If not, we're gonna have to get a piece of pipe and extend this. I'm glad this isn't a sponsored part because I'm not very happy with how it fits. If they just left a little extra pipe on those tailpipes, you could trim it to fit, and then you'd be, you know, you would have that room, depending on what headers you have. The bend on these over the axle tubes here is so severe that you just can't, it won't, you have no movement, you can't get to it. I mean, this is about as close as I can get it, but you want these things to be shoved in all the way. You wouldn't need them to be shoved in all the way if they didn't have this locking system on them, this tab here. So you're supposed to clamp that together and lock the pipe together. If it wasn't for that, you could cheese it a little bit and you'd have a little bit of room to move, but as it is, there's no way. I don't think we have any choice except for to lengthen these tailpipes by about, I mean, I could only eyeball it, but I'd say about that far. I have these lead pipes from Pipes, and I'm going to use these to lengthen them because it's the same diameter tubing. These were for the Skylark before I had planned on actually doing an engine build on it that's going to require headers. I had to go get an adapter to adapt a chunk of pipe into here. I even got a stainless steel one so it matches. And just one thing, I wanted to compare the Street Pro and the Violator muffler, and they are the exact same case, exact same length, so that's not our problem. I went ahead and just clamped everything all the way to here, and it looks great. I like how it looks. Everything looks like it should. It's running parallel with the frame. That's what you want. Now we're actually too long back here, of course. I'm going to hold this pipe up, just kind of guesstimate probably about here where to cut it off at, slide it into the muffler, and we should actually be good to go. It's running downhill out of here, no doubt, because I had to extend it, but what are you supposed to do? I've got it in here. We're tied up against the floor. It fits really good now. It just needed an extra couple inches there. We're right up against the air shock line over here, which, you know, that's my fault for putting air shocks on it. So that's part of why it's running downhill. But, you know, that kit was like $550. Or maybe I got a bad one. For that kind of money, no, it should just bolt in and work. Or leave you enough pipe to trim and make it fit. I don't want to say like this is all bad. It's very good quality stuff. Everything feels really good, and I'm sure it sounds great. That's as best as I could get it. I put some heat wrap around the exhaust there. Zip tied the line out of the way. I think it'll be okay. I hope it'll be okay. Otherwise, it's going to cost me a couple of tires. Well, it's done. It looks like shit. That one actually fit pretty good. It fits great around the shock and the axle, and points at the ground. Maybe something will bend or break if I do this. If I could just get this one to come up a little bit, I'd be cool with that. Oh, hey, it's bending. Hey, that's way better. Chrome turn down tips here, but to have them fit right, we got to cut this pipe back a little bit. You don't want them hanging out like that. That's goofball stuff. Somewhere in there, and that's also going to kind of hide the fact that this shit runs straight downhill. Ooh, about right there. I absolutely hate that, but maybe it'll be better when it's a foot lower on the ground. I got to straighten that one. It's crooked. I must be cross-eyed. I got to roll a fuel hose while I was buying every single muffler clamp that O'Reilly had in stock. So I got to change the car to pump side of this fuel line just so all the rubber is replaced in the system. Then we can put gas in the thing. We can fire it up. We can set it back on the ground. I like to hear what it sounds like. I mean, it was a bitch to put in, but I bet it sounds great if these header gaskets are any good, which they probably aren't, but that's not the kit's fault. At least I can put gas in it now. I know I'm super backlit. You know, I'm doing it as a lighting effect. It's just the kind of skilled cameraman that I am. I forgot there's no water in it. We'll fill this up. And with this fancy funnel that somebody sent me, I can leave this on here and it'll burp right up into the funnel. Get all its air bubbles out in here. Excuse me. Was that a jugs? Yeah, see, it's full, right? So when we run the engine, the thermostat opens. It's going to have a void in the engine full of air. The air is going to try to go up. So the air will come back up through here, it'll go burp, bloop, big bubble, and then the fluid will fill that vacuum. I imagine I'm going to have to crank on it a bit to get some gas up to the carb, but let's see if she'll start. Something's make. Oh, there we go. There's headlights. Just really poor connection. Bad connection. Well, that's enough ghetto for me for now. Let's just get rid of this. There we go. This will be a little better. Let's see what that did. Can't argue that it doesn't sound good. Big leak. My fuel filter's leaking. Stop that. Uber tight. Fixed.
Genius.
Well, it sounds good. Each time though. Let me see where we're at. We're going to want to be around about 12 degrees ish. Oh, back to the fancy stuff. You know, the other day I went over to Cody's to work on some fancy fuel injection thing he's doing. Had to tune it to get it to run. Well, I just tuned this. I'm done, so I can go to bed now. 950 RPM. Could stand to go down a little lower. You can see the old antifreeze is mixing in. I'll be damned if that doesn't look like Dex Cool to me, which is fucking terrifying. I really hope it's not. I mean, what more do you want out of something?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, rabbit. I mean, it's got a good sound to it, that's for sure. It was a pain in the ass and really expensive, but it does sound good. Okay, I'm setting the map curve on it. What do we do about that? Exxon
nice
Valdez.
A nice cup of chamomile.
Yes.
Yes. No, I don't have life insurance on you yet.
With a hint of glycol. I wanted to use my mouth to get this out, but no. I'm gonna be here a while, aren't I?
Yep.
75 years later.
Oh, that's what this is for.
Behold your genius.
This is really hot. I don't know if I should. Wow, look at that, huh? I just don't know how to use things. It'd be leaking. Yeah, that'll do it. Well, I see why he left the distributor loose. That's because that bolt is super tight and the distributor's still loose. So let me see if I can't get crow's footed. Oh yeah, there we go. A little extra leverage is what that needs. Yeah. Yeah. Oh yeah, that's how this car's supposed to look. Is he gonna ride like shit? Yeah. No, it's still squishy as hell. Badass car. The big tiles of Amazon sound deadeners. This should keep the rattliness down to a somewhat minimum. It's incredibly reflective in there.
Yes.
Behold, the tanning bed.
You spoil me.
Get in the trunk. I cleaned all the windows of the car. That made a huge difference. We have to put the trunk mat in the car. This is a correct reproduction trunk mat, and that is the direction this car is going. Kind of a sort of half-assed daily driver restoration. Something you could take to a car show and not be embarrassed. And then, you know, like this trunk gutter that's rotted away, we'll just ignore that and glue a weather strip over it. It'll be fine. I might have to get one of these. I haven't been able to find one. If you have a 64 Le Mans or GTO deck lid, I kind of need one. Thankfully, the hood was nice and warm with the engine running, so these things lay out really nice. Yeah, I'm pretty sure I ordered the wrong one. Oh no, the tire goes over there, that's why. This just goes over here. It's the little things that matter to me. It came with one brand new tire. There's our spare. No, it doesn't match any of the tires on the car. So it's going to drive awfully funny if I ever have to use it, but it's free.
And now it's pretty much brand new.
Exactly, and if you use black paint, it doesn't matter if you get some on the tire. Well, with that, I think I'm done. Except for I want to drive it around tomorrow. So, I guess we'll see you tomorrow. Ready to go for a drive?
Yeah.
Throttle pedals are really hard. Really need to spray some WD on this gas pedal. It's kind of like an on-off switch. Yes.
Wow.
Yep. This is not just a car. This is a Pontiac. it's falling apart. But it doesn't matter. Spunky old girl. I'm gonna take all this brake shit back to O'Reilly and get some lube for this.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, this runs like a Pontiac ought to. A little shimmy in the drums. We could probably use turned. Yep. This car makes you feel pretty badass. Not sure what I'm gonna lube up here, but I don't know. Everything?
Yes.
You know, most channels wash the car first. So let's go wash the car now. Yeah, we'll wash it now. See, I gotta know if it's worth the quarters. It's definitely worth the quarters. I'm prepping it for body for later. I think it might need weather strips.
Maybe.
And the windshield fixed. Maybe. Oh, you feel the wheel hop?
Yeah.
There, that's what I need to control on the Skylark, actually, and this one too, apparently. Well, at least we can put gas in it easily. You know, just look at this thing. That's what a car should look like. That car says, yeah, it's got a huge set of balls. That's what it says. I mean, this thing carries its balls around in a wheelbarrow, okay? It just exudes toughness. Somebody forgot to grab the camera batteries, so we got to go home now. Boy, hard to start.
Yeah. Car, you can't.
Stupid carburetor. You just can't drive them, you know? To home! I want to bang shift it, but I really don't want to break it, so I probably won't. I'll have a little self-control. If that's a Saginaw, it could break.
Yeah,
for
we don't
sure.
want it to break.
No, if it's a Muncie, we're good. But if it's a Saginaw, you'll note that the tip gauge is staying perfectly fine with a basic fixed blade, 4-blade fan, no shroud, nothing. It's almost like Pontiac knew what they were doing when they designed the car or something. It's strange, weird, I know. Now, I did gripe about that pipes kit, but I gotta say, that's their loudest muffler, and it is loud when you're on it. But it's pretty damn mellow while you're cruising. It doesn't drone. I mean, we even have an exhaust leak up here somewhere, and it's still very quiet, very reasonable in here. I think I'll probably at least buy their mufflers from now on, because it's perfect. It's nice and mellow when you want it to be, and then you get on it, and it's got an attitude. All right, Dad needs a Pitman arm puller. We must deliver this. Let's go. On episode 2 right now, the interior. We'll do it as we drive. Just an exhaust leak, I think you can hear it. Yep, well, I blew that out. That's the one thing we didn't do was put manifold gaskets on it. Getting an arm puller delivered. Yeah, it's gonna need a clutch. Dang it. Oh well. We can put a clutch in this one. I'll be happy to do it. There you have it. That is my 64 Le Mans. Now sometimes I buy something and it's for me. This car, it's for me. This is a keeper. Something I've wanted for quite some time. Now we got a lot more work to do yet. I have a lot of interior parts coming. I have a lot of exterior parts coming. We have a lot of body work to do. I'm not into the patina thing. I think it's really overdone. And, you know, it's like the trendy thing to do. It's not me, man. I want my car shiny. I think I'm just going to leave this in here, and I'm going to keep working on it. I'm still waiting on parts on Project Sky Goat, so that needs to sit for a little bit. That's okay. Meantime, I could at least get in here and start fixing the rust and stuff inside the damn car, which is just mind-blowing to me, but that's really where the most body work of this car will be inside of the body. That's going to entail pulling the glass out, and I'm going to strip this thing down pretty far. I mean, it's going to be a average guy kind of restoration, but you know, to another level, you know, and everybody seems to think you got to do stuff, it has to be done right, or it's not worth doing at all. Well, you know, sorry, that's a good way to end up with nothing. This will be, I do things in levels. I can do trash, I can do middle, I've done really nice. I don't want to do really nice with this because I want to drive it. I want it to look really good. If it's hiding some stuff under the surface, whatever, I'll do it again in 5 years, it's fine. I don't know, but I think you're going to at least see this again next week. I'm very invested in this project, financially and emotionally. So we'll see you guys next time on Pole Barn Garage. Hey, check out polebarnmerch.com. Do you see the pocket t-shirt? I've been asking for these for quite a while so I keep my smokes in my shirt. Oh, that's a must have. Thank you for the video's not over yet. This just showed up. We have to put it on. Aha! Air cleaner.
A block of steel.
Aluminum.
Oh, aluminum. Nothing like restricting your airflow a whole lot, but it looks factory, and so that's all that matters to me. There we go. Now, that looks correct.